The best and worst advice I ever received in Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, this is a real story. It happened to me, and I'm gonna share here to you guys because I think it's gonna help you guys. So guys, I started Jiu-Jitsu back in 2001 when I was 14 years old. And then 2 or 3 years later when I was blue belt, like I was either like 16 years old or 17 years old, a bunch of my training partners in my hometown started complaining that I was using too much strength when I was rolling. And in my mind, I was not using too much strength. I was using like the techniques that I learned, but I always had a lot of will, and I always tried to win the rolls like I was doing Jiu-Jitsu. So I was probably using strength as well. And for a juvenile kid, I was pretty strong. You know, like I'm a big guy. Like nowadays I'm 6'3", 230 pounds. And back then I was tall as well. I was not as heavy as I am today, but I was pretty strong. So I think I was using strength as well, but I was also using technique. And they were kind of like complaining and whining, oh, this guy only uses strength and this and that. And it was mostly coming from adults who were older than me. Of course, I was 16, and higher belt than me. So they were mostly like either adult blue belts or adult purple belts or even brown belts. And I think I was going pretty back and forth with them in the rolling, and they were kind of getting upset, you know, like, oh, he's only using strength, he's not using the techniques, blah, 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 and that kind of conversation. So one day, my instructor, who was my first instructor, the one who gave me all my belts from white to black belt, his name is Ricardo Marques, he came to talk to me. And he was like, Bernardo, everybody here is saying that you're using too much strength. Are you getting tired during the row? I was like, I'm not. Like, I'm doing like a lot of rows. I'm not even resting between the rounds and that. I'm not getting tired. So he's like, so are you not getting tired? And you feel you're using a lot of strength? I was like, I am using a lot of strength, but I'm also using the techniques that I learned from you. Okay, so if you're not getting tired, keep using as much strength as you can and don't listen to anybody. Guys, so this is the summary of this video here. The worst advice I ever got in my career was from those guys saying that I was using too much strength, that I should stop using strength. And the best advice I ever got in my career was from my instructor, who asked me the question if I was getting tired. And also I said that I was not getting tired. He was like, keep doing, keep using your strength. And this became like a huge lesson to me. Because, and this is my opinion nowadays, like, everybody, Jiu-Jitsu is not, Jiu-Jitsu is like, it's the technique part of Jiu-Jitsu, it's the mental part of Jiu-Jitsu, and it's the conditioning part of Jiu-Jitsu. And conditioning, it's strength and cardio and this and that. If you have the strength and you're not getting tired, you should be using your strength. In my opinion, the problem comes when you use your strength and 1 minute later, you're completely exhausted and your training partner is beating the crap out of you. So if you have the strength and you have a good cardio and you can handle for the entire row, there is nothing wrong with using the strength. You shouldn't use the strength in the cost of the technique, meaning like, you should also focus on your technique. Technique is super important, so don't use just strength and ignore the technique. But if you're paying attention to your technique, if you're focused on your technique, and you're using strength, and you're not getting tired, there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, you gotta have some common sense, you know, like nowadays I'm 230 pounds. If I'm rolling with a person that's 130 pounds, I'm not gonna use a lot of strength, you know, like I'm gonna try to do more like flow roll, focus on my speed, focus on my technique. But if I'm rolling with a guy who is my level, my weight, and or maybe if it's a higher belt than me, if I'm a blue or purple belt, I should use as much strength as I can, as long as I'm not getting tired. And for example, if I roll with a girl, with a woman, I don't think you should use strength, you know, like you should really focus on the technique and do everything perfect without strength, without using too much body weight. But if you're rolling against a person who is like your weight, your belt or higher belt, why would you not use strength if you're not getting tired? You know, like, so big mistake I see people doing is like many times, like let's picture a scenario that the guy is lifts a lot of weights, he's really strong, and then he goes do jiu-jitsu and he uses all his strength, and 2 minutes later he's like completely like tired and can't continue the road. This is wrong. I don't agree with that. He should be using less strength and focus more in the technique. So I think there is some sort of like balance that you can find, like how much strength you are using and how much technique you are using. And if you're using too much strength and getting tired, you're using a lot of strength. So you should be focusing more on the technique. But if you're using the technique, you're using the strength and you're not getting tired, there's nothing wrong with that. And my opinion is that you should be continue using strength. So again, just to summarize everything we talked here, worst advice I ever got in my life, in my jiu-jitsu career, stop using strength. Best advice I ever got in my jiu-jitsu career, if you're not getting tired, keep using the strength. And this disclaimer here that we should have some common sense, you know, like if you're rolling for white belt, focus on your technique. There's no reason to lose a lot of strength with him if you have a lot more technique than him. If you're rolling for a guy who is the white belt, consider that a black belt, right? If you are also a white belt, use your strength. But if you're rolling for a person that's way lighter than you and maybe lower belt than you, don't use a lot of strength. If you're rolling for Gur, don't use a lot of strength. But if you're rolling for a guy who's your weight, your level, your belt or higher, there's no reason for not using the strength if you're not getting tired. I think this is all that we talked here. Guys, this is my opinion. I respect your opinion if you have a different opinion. And I would love to hear your opinion down here in the comments as well. Let me know what you think. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to subscribe. Really pushing here, trying to bring as much content as possible to you guys. And again, those are my thoughts, my best advice, my worst advice, and I hope it helped you. Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.